All right, welcome to Evolution 2026. It is day 6. I'm sure I'm going to get bad at saying that every day unless I look. Um, we have had some amazing guests. This event has been super energetic, super valuable. So I have notes, I have things that I've been doing from each call. And that's what's really special is these guests are sharing their knowledge, sharing their passion, and then we take it in. And then I know a lot of us are doing something with it in our life. And that's all we can ask for a growth summit is to grow. So we're going to keep it up. We're going to keep it going. I'm excited about this one. Dylan and I met about a month, 2 months ago, and I'm in his community, the Healthship Network. He's in all of our communities. And we vibe so stringently on nutrition ethos that I am super excited to introduce Dylan Johnson. How are you this morning, Dylan?
I'm doing pretty good. Still waking up, but I'm here and ready.
I hear you, and I'm going to throw you under the bus. You're the one that scheduled this. You
Well,
scheduled it at 7 in the morning.
as a dad, trying to find the best times, and this one popped up, and I wanted to do this as soon as possible, and this was the soonest I could schedule it.
I love that. Hey, well, you mentioned you're a dad. Let's start there. Who is Dylan Johnson? Introduce yourself to those that might not have gotten a chance to meet you yet.
Well, I'm a dad, a dude, son, grandson, and a coach and a leader where I work. I've been working at a meal prep company for the last 5 years, and we are growing. Well, that's really fun. We're changing the landscape of food in the US at least. And it's really fun. Yeah, and I'm on school, so now I'm a schooler.
So you're working full time, plus you're schooling. You mentioned you're a coach. What do you coach? What is your expertise?
Well, that's the tricky thing is I don't strictly identify as a specific coach. General health coach, like a case manager. When I work with someone, I look at their deep health, everything about them, and we work on what's most pertinent, what's most alive for them to work on.
I could totally relate to that. I'm a nutrition coach. I got certified, right? 90% of my clients, we work on stress and anxiety and first, because you're not going to lose the weight if you're overthinking mess all the time. So 90% of the time, we're not focused on food yet. You're not there. So I can totally relate to that. I'm super curious. And that's going to be my first question. You're changing the landscape of food with your meal prep company. What is that all about? I'm curious.
Yeah, so the I gotta give all the credit to the founder, the president of the franchise. So we make food easy. It's healthy food for busy people. And so the name of the franchise is My Simple Plan. So you can go to mysimpleplan.com and it's basic meal prep that doesn't taste bad. So there's signature meals that people can order that are gonna for sure taste really awesome. And then you can also build your own. You have like dietary sensitivities because we do throw a lot of like cheese and gluten in a lot of the meals. Myself, I have to stay away from the gluten. And so the build the meals are awesome. So you can choose protein, veggies, carbs, sauces, and you can get rid of some. Like you don't need veggies if you don't want to eat veggies. You don't need carbs if you don't want to eat carbs. You can mix
So
and
it's
match.
basically like built for you, pre-prepped meal, like one of those meal subscriptions where you get the pre-meals, but you get to basically build it how you need it.
Yeah, you get to build it, and we're open 7 days a week for grab and go. And so if you're not someone that likes to plan your life, you can just stop on by and grab some food.
That's awesome. So it's actually kind of creating a hybrid structure of like delivered food and the sent to you subscription food boxes, where you
Mhm.
can actually stop into a brick and mortar place and pick this stuff up or get it sent to you. That's really cool. And it's funny as I've heard of it while living in Wisconsin. You guys probably do ads on social media.
Yeah, we got a bit of a following, and we're expanding. So the general manager's heading over to Appleton actually this year, and so he's opening up our sixth location.
Mm, interesting. It's 10 minutes away from where I live. Small little world. So you've been there for 5 years. I feel like that goes in super transition super well in with your nutrition coaching background. Is that how you started in nutrition coaching, or were you doing that beforehand?
Well, I was actually working at a grocery store when I started to study nutrition coaching, and because I saw how many people were um, walking out of the store with a cart full of soda and chips, and I was like, they just don't know what they're doing to themselves here.
What?
Then
Wait, that chip bag said it was gluten free and had extra sea salt, so that means it was good, right?
Right, right. But then the 2020 hit, and I that was 2020 hit right after I got certified, and I was gonna do like the entrepreneurial route and start coaching people, and I lost my confidence. And so a year later, after 2020, I found this position, the company that I'm in, and I was like, yeah, they're doing what I want to do,
Yeah.
and it'll get me the foot in the door to either be a part of the company as it grows, which is the path that it's leading, or it'll at least give me the experience of talking about nutrition with hundreds or thousands of people, which has also happened.
I absolutely love that. So 2020 is when you kind of transitioned a little bit. Is there a reason that you were drawn to the nutrition world? Maybe your own lifestyle? Like, tell that story.
So when I was 12 going on 13, I got diagnosed with celiac disease. And so it was like going to the dietitian and them telling me I can't eat bread or pizza or beer. I mean, I was 13 at the time, but being in Wisconsin, if you get told that you can't drink beer when you're an adult, that means you're not going to be a part of the culture, because it's a big part. And so that changed the landscape of everything. So I couldn't like go to fast food with like teammates on like the swim team, and I couldn't just like have a normal life. I had to like be very careful about the food that I ate and like ask people about the ingredients. And so it's just been on my mind for so long that like it wasn't like I didn't know nutrition coaching was like a field until it popped up on like an ad on Facebook or Instagram and went down the rabbit hole.
That's what I love about the coaching world is you see it's less just straight to education and more lived experience. Um, you were living being a nutrition coach because you kind of had to for you before you even realized that. I have a similar story, so I can totally I can relate to that. After you got into nutrition coaching, um, how do I word this? So I got really muddied down with all this stuff I learned, right? Like all of a sudden I learned this bunch of stuff. It's like you take the glasses off, like you said, you see the people in the grocery store and you're looking at their cart now with mortification and you're looking in your own cupboards and you're like, um, how how did you develop your nutritional ethos or morals or values as a nutritional coach at going through seeing how people eat, how you can eat. I guess I'm really muddying up this question. But what I mean is, how did you come to believe the things you believe about food after you got educated?
And I gotcha. I so the education was, so comprehensive, and so I started working on my own health. I was like, there's so much to this that I just got to make it simple, and so I made an omelet every day that was packed with all the nutrition. So it was just like a power omelet. And I did that for an entire year before I was like actually coaching anyone. And so I knew like if you mastered one dish, especially like if you can eat eggs and you can like do stuff with eggs, like that is powerful. But then when I started working where I am right now, I butted heads with the management and like the people there because they took things to even more simple, and I didn't like that at first, but it's been helping out a lot because the more you can make health simple for people is the easier it like clicks for them, because so many people, we get people coming in every day, they say they're a dietitian or a doctor, sent them here, and like they gotta start making changes. And so like to tell them like they have to hit all of their macros or get, 10 servings of veggies a day isn't gonna hit so well with them. And so we keep it simple where we start with an 80-20 principle of 80% clean food, 80% clean food, and 20% flexible. So you can still eat the cake and enjoy it too.
Love that
And
word.
and then you have the base of the pyramid of calories, and so you want make sure that you're getting enough calories, enough energy in your body. And with that 80% clean, you're making sure that it's quality, minimally processed, whole foods. And then we have macros. And then so that's like protein is number one, protein is king. And so making sure you get a very good amount of that. It depends on the person. If some people, if someone hasn't been eating 50 grams of protein a day, I'm not going to tell them to eat 200 if that's the recommended amount. Like we got to get them up there. And then at the very tippy top is timing. I tell people not to worry about that unless they're like trying to do fitness competition. And we have one here. And it's probably familiar with it, Wisconsin Warrior. The owner, franchise president, he has been awarded as like a supporter and the person who is running that here. And like there's so many like fitness competition. I forget what they're called because I never dove too deep into it, but like people that compete for their like body physique.
Oh yeah,
A lot of
yeah,
them use their food.
yeah. The bodybuilding contest and stuff are
Yeah.
yeah. What I've loved about talking to you about nutrition since we met is you feel the same way I do with everything you just said. That a lot of people will give their new client like a book of like, this is the diet you're gonna eat. You got to do this. You're gonna have mango, chia seed yogurt in the morning, and then you're gonna have salmon at lunch. And it doesn't work like that in reality. You have to start simple. Some people, it's one thing. Hey, eat more eggs this week. Anything else, lower this. But whole nutrition plans and stuff, I think can get money. So I totally agree with you. I actually read a book. I don't remember the guy's name, but it was like Strength 101 or something. Strength and Food 101. Now, it was a guy from England. And it was the first time that I looked at food not as an American, not as an American that was taught the way Americans were taught to look at food. And it opened up my world. I was working out every day. I was doing the 7 to 8 mini meals every single all day where I'm eating all the time. So if I'm eating all the time, I'm also digesting all the time. And that was, as you know, that was how we did it in this country for a long, 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 long time. If you're bodybuilding, if you're working out, you eat 7, 8 meals all day long. And then I read his book. And that's when for 3 years now I've been living 80/20 lifestyle. And it just changed my world because now I eat clean as I can. I don't have to worry about it. If someone's like, hey, do you want this at a party? Go ahead. That's awesome. So with everything you're doing, you like to keep nutrition simple, you like to keep it fun. Where did the Healthship Network come from?
So that it came from the concepts within it came from Precision Nutrition, the company that I certified with. And so there's 6 dimensions of deep health: the physical, emotional, mental, existential, relational, and environmental. And I always wanted to create a container of some type that would be able to encapsulate the dimensions of someone's health. Like specifically, I was working on my own health. And so like it's like how can I document and like have it like be able to reference it. So like if I'm ever feeling lost or like confused about like where to go or what to do in life, that I have this reminder of like who I am and like what works for me and what doesn't work for me. And so like so that's the health part. And then the ship part is I've always been um, thinking about how to create a relationship with my health. And so that's the shit part is it's like the relationship with your health. And so I've been working on this for years now. And this year, so 2020 or 2025, I finally discovered a piece of the puzzle that's been missing for so long that's been preventing me from like diving into like, well, school for one, but also like sharing the health ship. I've been very like what's the word, like not confident in sharing the health ship because I was like I don't have the right container for it, but then I found the right container for it and it's physical box. And so this is my health ship so that I can have it with me. It's this entity that has all of the ideas of my health ship in it. And so like I've built it digitally, but it just didn't feel right to like have to check my phone, hit some buttons, and then like find it. Like I wanted it physically because then it's like it goes into a whole philosophy of another author I found and how he's like he has a whole filing cabinet, and so eventually it might get that big to like several boxes.
Yeah.
But the idea is to keep it simple and organized. And when you have an idea about your health, one of the dimensions that you'd be able to stick that idea on a note card and put it in there, and then it's in there for good. And you can build on that over time.
I really like that. And when did that start? You just started doing the physical box?
I believe I found that author and I got all three of his books really fast in September.
Really quick, because I know I like to take notes, and for anyone on here, could you repeat the 6 principles that you
Oh,
said?
yeah. So the 6 dimensions of deep health are the physical, emotional, the mental, existential, relational, and environmental.
Nice. I appreciate that. Thanks. And, is that how you run your school community and ethos and coaching is all off of those 6 dimensions, basically?
Well, so the biggest thing is the relationship with your health. And so, like the environmental aspect mixed with the relational, I've really thought a lot about the relationship with technology. So, one thing I noticed is that some people can go a little wild with school and maybe be on for 12 hours a day. And, I heard from Sam Ovens himself, like, you want to design your community to be engaging for people like 15 minutes a week or like 12 hours a day. And so I went with the other extreme, the 15 minutes a week. And so I'm doing my best to make my place a good place for schoolers to show up and share what's been going on with their healthship, their crew, their community. And the Pirate News that I host every week, roughly, is a place for me to, essentially guide people when they step on my ship for a minute and be like, yeah, sharing what I think is going on. And it's going to evolve this year, especially with you guys, both of you in the group. I'm really excited for how that's going to evolve. I'm not glued to any way of being in my community, so I'm open to expanding as long as I can maintain my sovereign pulse. Uh, one of the keys of the Pirates Code that I came up with, and being able to show up at least once a day, and when I'm not on school, to be fully present in in real life environment.
I love how many people you meet on school that like have this shared theme of like helping others and being out there, but also like we have lives and we have to take care of ourselves. I think that's what separates school from social media. You don't have any gurus saying, do all this. You have people going, hey, I'm doing all this too. Come here. And that's what's really fun. I have a kind of a question just from where we're at here in like 23 minutes or whatever. What is your relationship and what does your relationship with your health mean? I mean, you had celiac really young. You probably had quite the journey of trying to figure your own health out. So what does that mean to you today? That relationship. I mean, you just told us about the box is super cool. So I can see that it's pretty deep. So let us in on that a little bit.
So yeah, I've been working on my health for so long. The biggest relationship I have with my health is, I would say, like the existential component, my purpose in life. And I feel like without purpose, your health can spiral down pretty fast. And I've seen that in other people. And so, especially when people retire and they don't have the things like a reason to be. And so, like my grandpa, he was a pharmacist all his life. And well, Brandon would know the Marshfield Clinic system. And maybe, I don't know if we reached out east that way, but I'm sure you do. But
Oh,
so,
Marshfield, I've been to Marshfield actually.
and so I was raised, he was just on the other end of town because I was raised in Marshfield. And so like there was always this like pharmaceutical energy, but he also like had his own land. He grew his own food, or at least a good amount of food. He had a large garden. He created a forest in his backyard, and we had a cabin up north in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan.
Hey, that's where I'm from. I
And
mean,
yeah, I remember you mentioned that at some point on school. So I want to make sure I threw that in there. And so like the relationship I've had with him has been like connected with nature, and which has been really cool. But like he spent his whole life doing pharmaceuticals, and nothing against him making that choice for himself. But when I was in high school and in junior year, my friends started applying to colleges, and I had taken some psychedelics, and I was questioning the the origins of the university system, and so I went into deep rabbit holes on the internet and found that the pharmaceutical industry bought out the public university systems, at least in the United States. I could be wrong with the whole world, but um, and like the alternative healing and alternative education methods that were the dominant ones for centuries, they got like pushed to the side. And, we got these giant structures of like public education, private education, and it's where you get your liberal arts and so on and so forth. And I didn't feel right about supporting that industry that was originally and continues to be funded by that. And so I went a different route, and I wanted to go the holistic healing route. And so I went out to Arizona the week after his funeral. I moved out of Wisconsin for the first time to go to Tucson, Arizona to study the healing arts, including massage therapy, flexology, craniosacral therapy. I've learned a little bit about Ayurveda, traditional Chinese medicine, and communication and boundaries and business, a little bit of business. Could have had a little bit more because I didn't have the business prowess at the time. And then but then I spread myself because I didn't understand. I was only 20 at the time when I moved out there, and I didn't have the boundaries at the time. And so I've been able to develop my inner boundaries, my boundaries with the world. When I was down in Tucson, I spread myself too thin. I didn't understand what that meant until I did it. And because I'd never lived in a big city before, and I was part of a mushroom growing group, the Tucson Psychedelic Society. I was going to music festivals. At the end of my schooling, I had been moving around from place to place to because that's when you first get there. It's like you don't know what you're doing. First roommate was a bust, and then I had to move and then I unintentionally accepted an offer to join one of my other classmates at the end where I lived until I left, and it was an intentional community. So I kind of unintentionally joined an intentional community that had about 100 people, and that's one of the drivers for me today. Is when I left that, I didn't realize what I was missing out on when I left. It's this really tight knit community of 100 people. There's like 30 houses, 30 families or so. And I want to recreate that with at least to a degree with my family and potentially my extended family, where we can live, grow food, and be able to maybe even have a business as part of it. There's a lot to that, and that's a whole nother rabbit hole we could go down. So that is a deep purpose of mine, is to build a life for my family and my son, especially, so that we can create this, at least be a part of the new wave. I see so many. It's like it's growing. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's been growing. The people that are going out to land, growing their own food, having community, whether it's a family compound or like a fully fledged community. I've got the blueprints, I've got the business plan, and that's what's pushing me every day to be the best version of myself, to grow an audience on Skool and a community on Skool so that I can share kind of what I'm up to as the process and the journey unfolds.
I You just told my story, but it's your name. Like, we're doing the same thing. Like, that's my girlfriend is she grows, we're learning as much as we can about everything we can and growing our own food, sustainability. Wisconsin, I know a lot of farmers. I want all farm food. My house that's
Mm,
family compound. We talk about that kind of stuff all the time. I can't agree more. It's where life, especially in this neck of the woods, kind of has to go to get away from certain things, rabbit holes we won't go down. Um, I want to go I love the correlation with your grandpa and how he was a pharmaceutical, that's what he did, but you also learned the nutrition side. You also learned the nature side, the being out in the woods. You learned like the real side. And you also got a view of, well, normal American health life of pharmaceuticals and stuff. Well, how did that shape like what you believe? Take the rabbit holes out of it, but like what you believe about how people should eat to function these days to stay away from the pharmaceutical companies.
Right. So it's a really big thing too. Like the way I was raised is like, dinner with the family every day. And then when we did go see my grandpa and his wife, we would sit down and have a meal where at least a portion of the meal was from the garden and his own homemade wine. And so, like, by the age of 14, I was given a small amount to enjoy. And my grandpa was never one to support over intoxication. And so it was always like a very, like, not a ritual, but just a very, like, like a culinary experience to like have some nice Midwestern food along with like an evening of sipping on wine and lots of good conversation. And so that's one thing he was really good at was finding more about what you were passionate about, what you wanted to do. And so that's, I've learned a lot about keeping your ancestors with you. And so I keep him and his wisdom with me as I move forward in life. And so because the nutrition field, like it's a lot of people say you got to eat, like the healthy and there's just so much to it. And like what I've been learning through the ebbs and flows, sometimes I'm more strict with myself. Like when I was gaining 10 pounds of muscle in a sprint, and now I feel a lot better with more muscle on my body, but being more lenient on like what I eat, but like just still paying attention to how the food feels in my belly and like having the foundations of the skill of nutrition so that it's not on my mind all the time. I can just live my life now and it's like second nature, whereas so many people don't have that yet.
Yes, that's I didn't have it for a long time. I was a victim of my health, and I think there's a big portion of the world, not just our country. Our country really sucks at this a little bit more than others, in my opinion. It does,
Mhm.
but and I just do. I feel Europeans and certain countries they value health food more than Americans. Um, and that's a great time to bring on our European. Digga, any thoughts, questions on me and Dylan's little bromance developing here in front of you?
I mean, I feel always so in awe of the synchronicities and the similarities with almost all the guests so far. I haven't talked to Dylan about this into so much detail, so I didn't know all his background. We connected through another rabbit hole, which we might touch upon. But I happen to be also a Czech certified coach, so it's very much like I would say 80% like, it matches to the values and the techniques and the principles of the education that I have followed, and I love that. I also always say that we are the technology as humans, so everything that we will all ever need is already inside of us. So you can have an Aura ring or all kinds of tech gadgets, but I think the purpose is to tune your own instrument so that you never need an external whatever to rely on to tell you, oh, you need to eat more of this or you need to sleep better or whatever. What it brings up to me is that what are your go-to practices in that realm? How can you tune into your body? What are your tips and tricks to teach someone like something that they can implement immediately? What are your favorite tools that you can empower someone to tune into their own body and start to listen to its signs better?
Mm, I love that. Yeah, I love that so much. I'm so grateful to be in your community, Dinka, because that um to just before I answer that question, like I didn't give enough explanation to the existential health because I mentioned that the existential was really big for me and I missed one of the biggest aspects was like the Trinity Code before I even knew about calling it the Trinity Code of astrology, human design, and gene keys. And so that's been a way for me to contemplate and move forward and understand how my life is the way it is. And so I've got the right angle cross of the unexpected. And so I've learned to lean into that and allow things like this to come up. And so your question on the practices is one thing that's been with me since I lived in Tucson, and maybe even before then, is Qigong. And that is a breath-based movement that could be older than Tai Chi, if I'm not mistaken. But it's got its roots similar to yoga in that it's unlocking your body. Oh, thanks for the love, Mark. Nice to see you here. um, and so I've done different things. I've practiced different ways of qigong. I have a couple books on it so that I have like a foundation of like what is possible for people to heal. And it's pretty much anything. As long as you have good nutrition and sleep and stress management. Part of qigong is stress management, and so that's really cool. Where we can, no matter how stressed you're feeling, you can tap into your body, move your body around, breathe with your body, and there are specific movements. I could even step back. It looks like I have a good angle if you ever wanted me to jump up and do
If you
something.
want to give us a little demonstration, I think it would be super valuable for,
I like it.
people watching.
Cool.
So.
It works out because I haven't done them yet this morning.
All right.
So
Let's go.
I'm just gonna do 3 repetitions of each. 7 of the 8. One of them is like a one-time thing. And then the goal is if you have enough time to do 9 repetitions of each, like that's really cool. But with my limited time these days as a dad, I've just been doing at least 3, and then that's I get some good final cracks, and I just feel like I can be human if I've had some headbutting with my family because I don't have the human abilities before I do the qigong, and so I'm not always the best father before I do my qigong. I'm working on that.
Yeah, but it's good awareness, and that's where it starts, right? So.
So yeah, let me jump up and give
Yeah,
you guys a
please.
demo. Let me know if like you can still hear me from the back.
Mhm. Yeah, we hear you.
Sweet. So I like to shake out a little bit before I get going, and then this. So not everyone has like loose arms, but right now I'm not doing anything to my arms. They're just flopping on my body as I rotate back and forth. And then I'm slowly bringing my hands up more and more each time. So I'm hitting all of my torso. And then if I'm feeling really rigid or if I want to be extra loosey goosey, I'll do the full swings. And then coming into center each time in between each set of exercises, do a few deep breaths. And the ceiling in here is really low, so I can't do my full stretch. Otherwise, I'd go through the ceiling. But I'll do a full up and then down. I usually do this upstairs where we'll have a little bit more room. But I've done it down here before. You got to do with what you got. Even if it's a little cave and some side movements. And then I'm breathing in.
So I was gonna say, do you have a certain cadence or time? Did you comfortable for you? What kind of breath are you focusing on while you're doing these movements?
Good question. So I'm breathing in and out through my nose. And when I do my expansive movement, I'm breathing in. And when I'm contracting, I'm breathing out. And then the more in tune I am, the more I will slow down in the movement. The slower you can practice, the better for the long term, so that you develop the practice without it feeling like a rushed thing. We're not doing a like traditional aerobic here. So this one I'm doing would normally have my hands straight up, but like I said, I'm not gonna go through the line.
I had a Muay Thai kickboxing coach from Thailand that would have us do a variant of Qigong and Tai Chi for like 20 minutes before we trained. And if he would always say, if you can think about breathing, you're not breathing correctly. If you can think about you're moving too fast. And I never understood what that meant until way later, like probably a decade later, when I was doing meditation on my own, trying to slow myself down. And I started to think that through of his story or his story of him saying that all the time. And that just stuck out. Like, I know what he's talking about now. If you can think about it, you're not there yet. You should just do it naturally. Your breathing should just come. If you're going, am I breathing right? You're not breathing right. And I didn't know what that meant for years.
So in the system where I am trained, what you are doing, what you are showing us is what we call a work in exercise. So there's working out and working in. Workout is when you spend energy, and work in is where you gain energy. So I actually really love this kind of analogy, is that you have to feed your body. You cannot just be like, withdrawing money all the time and not making any deposits. So this is where it kind of comes full circle, that it's good to move and it's good to get tired and sweaty. But then there are other ways to give energy to your body than just like complete rest, like sleep. So I really love, and these are ancient techniques. I think Mark Lawrence can probably also chime in on the topic if you do feel the calling, Mark. You're part of the panel by now, so feel free to chime in.
I can't get the nostalgia out of my head on this whole thing. Even you talking about the work in, work out just brings back my coach saying, the world takes from you. And when here, you need to give back to the world. He used to always tell us, the world constantly takes from you. That's what he would say when we're in those movements. That's all I can think of.
Yeah, I love it how there are so many things that all of us are learning or exploring, and it's just different facets of the same truth. So I really love that it's kind of filtered through everybody's experience. Like, if you have a question, go ahead. Oh wait, I have to allow you to. Yeah. Sorry, I think you can unmute yourself now.
Hey guys.
Hey.
Hi Dylan, you're looking good there. You're doing the movements quite well.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. I'm glad to pitch in. Well, as you know, I studied martial arts across multiple disciplines for 20 odd years, and then of course qualified as a traditional Chinese medicine doctor. And part of that training was of course Qigong, and we used to do Qigong every day in class with various masters, which was very enlightening to me, and also part of your understanding of the whole ancient art of traditional Chinese medicine, and certainly its connection across to other disciplines like Ayurveda, etc. So, hooking into what you said right at the beginning, Dylan, was really good. And I put a quick comment there earlier about doing things fast is easy, doing things slowly is far more difficult. And the energy that you give and also receive from doing things slowly is so much more beneficial to your body and certainly to your mind than doing things quickly. And as Brandon quite rightly said, about the breath, if you have time to think about your breath or think about the movement, then you're doing it incorrectly. So it's great. I loved it. Loved the synergy. Loved the connection with Ayurveda, with health, mental health, physical health, well-being. And interestingly, also you hooking into the aspects of food and nutrition. As an old man that I am these days, but with a very, very young mind, it's interesting to me because I had a severe allergy come on about 15 or so years ago when I lived in China for 20 years. And that was an allergy that came overnight to eggs. And it was very, very difficult to find a diagnosis for that allergy, why it came about, what caused it. But of course, then I became very caught up in oh my God, I can't eat that. Oh my God, I need to check that recipe. Oh my God, I have to tell the restaurant I cannot have anything that is a derivative of eggs. And to the point where I flatlined in an ambulance in China after eating a little touch of mayonnaise that was hidden in the dish that I was eating. And luckily in China, they have a doctor in the ambulance. And my wife said to him what was happening, because I'd already passed out. he did an adrenaline shot directly into my heart, which brought me back. But I did flatline. I did die at that point. So this is how we need to be very aware of things like food allergies these days. There is so much hidden. There still is. Brandon, you saying earlier about in North America, you know, the food ethos, the fast food environments. And interestingly, in China, I was there early on, of course. So I saw the change from a very healthy society with no obesity, zero diabetes, zero health problems in respect to cardiac problems, obesity, and so on, to now it becoming an epidemic since Western food, fast food came in about 20 years ago. So it's changed dramatically. And I think what we're seeing in the West now is the reverse. It's on that Brad Dylan earlier about the new wave of people and awareness that we do need to make a change and we do need to look at alternatives again, for sure. So, hey guys, thanks very much. It's all cool.
Mark, Dinka, we're going to need longer than 90 minutes for his.
Sorry, guys.
No, but it's
No,
always
I was talking for yours, not
for mine. You know,
yours. You're going to need more than 90 minutes. I think every time you come on here, I write down 10 more questions. Thank you,
I
Mark.
need to start charging.
You can send that bill to David Layden Jr., please.
Okay.
The problem is, I feel like now because of that, I have like questions I don't want to get too complicated on. Never mind. I'm going to shut up. Ankara, you have your hand up. I'm going to let you ask a question. I like that better. You guys hear me talk. I'm going to take you off. You should be allowed, buddy.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Cool. What's going on, Dylan and family, Brandon, Dinka? Good to see you this rising. Just wanted to say hey to you, Dylan, and I love your journey. I am also a big fan of mushrooms in all different forms, and I am a armchair mycologist. And I've also had some very intense breakthrough experiences with psilocybin and psychedelics. I'm also very interested in community. I've been very community oriented since I was a teenager. I started going to hostels and traveling around the world, Central America, and doing willing workers on organic farms and going to rainbow gatherings and doing all kind of hippie wook stuff, festivals and things like that. So it's been my life for the last 20 plus years. But I just wanted to connect with you and say what up. I'm gonna come over and check out your community. And yeah, man. I host a men's breathwork community here on Schools.
Yeah, I feel like you guys definitely have some stuff to talk about. I love this. I love when this happens, how we find people and just kind of can connect them together. It's amazing.
That was the whole point of this. Now, Dylan's probably going to join yours. You're going to join his, and we have another connection. That was the point. No complication. That was all we wanted from this event, and it's happening. So it's pretty awesome. I want to go back to what Mark said a little bit. Thanks for sharing, Ankara. Love you jumping on here, Mark. I love the interactions with everybody. Mark really brought something up for me because my journey with kind of connects not so much with the celiac, but my whole family is IBS, gluten. They can't do this, they can't do that. I struggled in areas, right? And I found out that I have the MTHFR gene mutation, which means that I do not process folic acid. And folic acid is a man made chemical that our country loves to spray on all of its grain and enriched stuff. And 80% of the population can't break it down, right? So I found that out. I stopped eating folic acid. I can eat homemade bread. I can eat certain things that aren't enriched, and I don't have problems. Something super simple. And what happened before that, though, before I got the methylation test and even knew what that was, I did pest control for 2 years in the state of Wisconsin. I was a part of the industry that sprays glyphosate all over our food. I seen the good, there's no good. I seen the bad, the ugly, every truth. And that was before my health was still, I was not health focused. But now I look back at that and it's fueled my mission because not only is it the choices we have, Mark, in the fast food, it's the things that our GOVT likes to spray and put all over our food to keep it longer. Um, Now my question, have you had a methylation test or I'll break that down is a test that shows what your body can break down, medications, foods, everything. And I know a lot of people that deal with celiac and have had to figure that out. Have you went on that road?
Are you
You
asking
should.
me?
You should. It's
You're
changed
asking
my
me,
life.
Brandon? Yeah? Are you asking me?
No, I was asking Dylan.
Oh, Dylan.
You should. We won't talk about it too much. My daughter is autistic and she always wanted, hey, we should put her on pills. We're anti-pills. We don't want that. We're doing some saffron, a couple other herbal things. And the doctor said, can we do a methylation test? It's free for her. I said, yeah. It was mind blowing. I've never seen one, and it was mind blowing. It shows you exactly. As for father, mine is going to be super similar. It shows you exactly what psychiatric drugs for the counters, caffeine, folic acid. They do the MTHFR gene. Any gene mutation that you have that might not process something that could be causing gut issues. It changed me and my daughter's life within a month just because of oh my God, that's why this is happening. Take that out. Easy fix. So now to get off of that, so without having that test, how have you over the years nailed down your diet with, well, if I eat this, it makes me sick. If I eat this happens. How have you navigated that? Like beside, gosh,
Well, so when I first got diagnosed, it was pretty easy to cut out the gluten because it was like a kind of like a mandate to like not eat gluten anymore. And then I had my family policing it, more so my mom than my dad. And then dairy, I noticed is like a little bit of a thing for me, but especially like Culver's. If you know, you know. It's a custard, so it's like and they have burgers and fries, and it's like a upper class fast food, and they have a frozen custard, and I don't know if it's the custard, the ice cream, the egg, but I think it's the sugar. And so like sugar is one thing I do my best to limit. I try to stay under the daily recommended limit of 50 grams a day, as best as possible. And and then there's other things too, like pork doesn't always sit well if it's not like super high quality. And then it's like the food's gotta be prepared well. But like how I've navigated is just having been doing the qigong for so long, like I notice the food like within usually minutes. Like I can feel like how all of the cells, like I've been able to visualize the metabolic pathways and like just be in tune. Like I have one of those weird I forget what it's called, attributes in my body where I can feel my heart and like my pulse in every cell of my body. So like even like in a second, like I can feel like from like my toes, my arms, my legs, my body, like I can feel like a boom, 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 boom. It's not like super intense. Sometimes it is. Um, but I've just been able to be in tune with that. And I just take that as a sign that like, as well as like with the inside, like I can tell when a substance, like what the substance is doing in my body and to like,
immediate,
yeah.
almost. Yeah, I'm the same way.
I
Since we
I
live
have a
so
quick
close,
follow-up question on that because as someone who has been working on your own health for such a long time, I think that you can give some good insight on this. My own journey, I've been healing from endometriosis for quite some time. I mean, it took 10 years just to get a diagnosis, but that's not relevant right now. And I realized that through nutrition, there's so much that I can do. My experience has been that the more you keep your instrument clean, whenever there's a slip up or there's some crimes committed, you also get more like stronger signals. I don't know if that was your experience or if you want to share something in that realm.
Yeah. Yeah. So like when I first had to start cleaning up myself at the time when I was 12, I was eating a bowl of ice cream and at least a can of soda every day. And so like my body was full of all the sugar. And so leaning off of that, like it was a wake up call for both of those, even though neither of them have gluten. Like I slowly weaned off my consumption of those. It's like once you start getting rid of the gluten, and it's like, oh, I don't need to be on the toilet all the time. What else is affecting me? And it's like, I didn't know I was building skills until I studied. And once you start building those skills, whether it's conscious or not, it's you start like you say, like cleaning up your body, and you noticed when, and like you have like a little radar and being like, yeah, that's not for me. Way like before it's even like offered.
Did you have certain techniques, or did you use something like food journaling or body scans, or is there any kind of actionable step that you can, arm our listeners that they can start their own journey, tuning into their body?
Yeah, so I tried to do a little bit of food journaling. It didn't stick too much for me at the time, but the body scans I would say are the best. So like that's where I would visualize being in like going to the airport, and they have their like little hand wand, and just like scanning, like using my mind to visualize like my whole body being scanned. And then so I would even do one body part at a time. And so like you can use your power of attention with your intention to like have like a sensing orb to like go through your body and like notice like the sensations around your body. And if you can do that at least once a day, you start having like a day-to-day knowledge of like where are the aches and pains, where there's some restrictions. And then you can do it when you're eating, after you're done eating, throughout the day. And you can start to notice like situations, people. I mean, we're talking about digestion, but like digestion is more than just food. It's also information, what we see, our environment around us. And so like growing up, I've always gotten chills in my body when I go into a new place. And I didn't know, I just thought it was like a feature of going into new places, like that I would get a chill. But now I can like tap into like, what is this sensation rushing through me in this new environment? What is it trying to tell me?
Have you ever heard of biogeometry? Do you know the system?
A little bit. I'm familiar with the name.
Don't chat about that. I was just curious because that's also, they have a very cool tool that you can also scan your own body using little pendulums, but you can scan other people's bodies, like where do they need energetic support, and that's another rabbit hole. So maybe for another time. Over to you, Brandon.
I asked that question because I knew where you were going to go with it, and Dinka's follow-up question was just like it's so amazing. Anybody watching this, if you have a gut problem, IBS, food doesn't settle with you, anything, right? You want to lose weight, but you can't. You can't, and you are complicating it. And Dylan, you said it perfectly. Be in tune with your body. Eat an 80-20 lifestyle where you're clean food, but you get to live a little. You get to, I love what Dinka always calls it, you get to commit a crime. You get to eat the cake. And then your body's going to be able to keep up because 80% of the time you eat great. And then like limit your sugar and move your body. People look at it and go, well, I have to cut out all these foods. I have to do this. You don't even eat all the 100 foods on that list. Why are you concerned that you have to cut them out? And they put so much stress on what they have to do that they don't see that it's 2, 3 simple things. Yes, there are advanced steps to everything, but in the nuts and bolts of it, it's 2, 3 simple things. Listen to how you feel, limit your sugar intake, and eat clean food as much as you can, and move your body. And you don't have to run marathons. People like to do that. But you try Tai Chi in the morning, right? You're sorry, Qigong. That's not super strenuous, but you got to take the time to do it. It is overcomplication. I don't know how it is in the rest of the world. Overcomplication of being healthy is like a standard here in America, and it drives me nuts because it's not that hard.
Well, I think there's also a business element to this because you cannot really monetize like sleep well, drink water, I don't know, do qigong. That's not a good business model, obviously, because you cannot. I mean, maybe there are people who would be willing to pay money for guidance, and hopefully that's what we are looking for, I guess, in a way. But it's not a business that you can make billions of dollars easily. Just slap a logo on it, and I don't know. So I understand why it's not catching on, but I do feel a wind of change. So I don't know what's your experience still in that realm, fighting the sad diet, as I call it, the standard American diet that is it's just sad.
I mean, I feel like that's a reason why I've been sticking around so long. Like previous jobs I've only had for like a year at the most. And this one, like the company sold me on like their mission of eliminating metabolic disease in the US.
Mm.
And so that's why I'm still with them, is like I see the future when we expand large enough to serve more and more people across the nation. And I've brainstormed with the president, the owner, to like if we can grow our own food. He's like, yeah, once we get big enough, we can be vertically integrated. And like that's the. I mean, I still want to put the power into like local, and like that's not where we are. But if you can do local food as much as possible, and then if you just have basic healthy, keeping it simple. And so yes, we're not like some people come in. I've had a couple people angry that we're not organic. My heart goes out to them, to the people that want everything to be 100% healthy, to like the nth degree. But we're here to change the game. And like I have, there's this police officer that's like 21 years old that is a regular, super fit. He does martial arts, and I chat with him, and we're working together to create to put the fast food business out of business, fast food industry out of business, like the McDonald's and the burger, or at least change the game and tell them that they got to step up and offer healthier stuff. But we're getting more and more people coming in, and like we celebrated a milestone for like cultivating a healthy culture on New Year's Day. This guy that I mentioned, the police officer, he came in and he said there was no drunk drivers New Year's Eve overnight in our county, in Eau Claire and Altoona. And that's huge because we're known as one of the heaviest drinking cities in the state. And so we're shifting the landscape, even if it's in little ways.
Well, I think sometimes we don't even realize, how big of an influence something simple as food can have, because in order to eat well, you have to have healthy ingredients. In order to grow healthy ingredients, you have to have healthy soil. So it really ripples out. And I love that mission, and it's ambitious, but, go big or go home, I suppose. But I really love that mission because it really does ripple through, like, not just the food industry, but then also agriculture and farming and all of that. And that's very needed, not only in the US. On this side of the pond, things aren't looking that bright either. Sadly, we are copying you guys all in the wrong ways. But I mean, I love these kind of initiatives, and be the change you want to see in the world, right? So that's really something super inspiring.
Well, I love it because a lot of the food processing companies, especially in this country, are connected in the same business model as the pharmaceutical companies.
Yeah.
So to have somebody go, we're going to be different, and not just to be different to say we're going to be different, so you buy the same thing, but we're actually going to be different. You don't see that a lot. I'm glad that hopefully it catches fire, and more companies do things like that, because it's the simplest need that we all have, right? Food. It's the simplest need that we all have, that if we don't do it ourselves, we're kind of at the mercy of where we're getting our food from. So I love the mission of My Simple Plan. And is that order online? Is that in stores too? Locally
Yeah,
here?
so we you pre-order online. The deadline is 11 p.m. by on Friday night for it to be ready for pickup or delivery on Monday. And we ship pretty much anywhere in the US, just not like the coast where it's like it takes longer than 2 days to get to. for, food safety reasons.
Yeah.
So
Amazing.
if you had one tip, if you had someone on this call that was like, man, I'm trying to eat healthier and I just don't know how, where do you start?
Drink water in the morning.
Yay. I love that. Again,
Team
simple.
water. I think we have to implement team water also in the community.
And again, it's been a theme. So who said the other day? I think it was Kyle that said, "Sleep like your life depends on it." And then you're
Yeah.
wake up, drink water. I mean, it's not simple, people. It's hard, but it's that simple.
Amazing.
Do we have anything in the thread at all, Dinka?
I will have a look quickly. Other than lots of love from Julianne, no questions so far. So if you still have something, go ahead, Brandon.
Okay, yeah, I just didn't make sure I didn't want to run over that. Dylan, what are your 6-month plans with Skool, the Healthship Network, and just everything you got going on?
So with the Skool and Healthship, I'm gonna continue doing my abiding by my Pirates Code, which is it's threefold. So it's the sovereign pulse, showing up once a day, and then being offline when I'm off, and being present. The second aspect of the Pirates Code is the captain's log. And so that's doing my daily journaling. And so like this is last night's, I just do my wins, lessons, and intention for the day ahead. My intention for today was show up to my interview on time, and I did pretty good on that. And then so because the documenting is really important too. That would be like my tip number 2 is drink water, but then like start documenting. And then the third aspect is protecting the hull. And so that is the rest of like the health ship, making sure that, and it's easier for me to say that and to like uphold that because I can like have multi-dimensional awareness of all the dimensions going on with my family and with myself and people around me, environment around me. And so I'm showing up every day in little ways, making sure I'm documenting my journey, at least for myself, and then maintaining, if not developing, at least maintaining the health that I have and allowing the right angle cross of the unexpected, which is part of my blueprint, to reveal to me how to grow my community. I have a mission to get 1 million members in my group by the January 1st next year. And so we'll see if we can hit
members?
it. 1 million.
Let's do it. I like it. I like lofty goals. How do you plan on doing that?
Well, if I can bring in 2 people a week and if I can inspire if I can inspire at least for all my members to bring in at least 1 person a week, then we'll hit it. I did the math. And if everyone that is a part of the community can bring in 1 person a week, and then that keeps on compounding,
Yeah.
like that goes pretty fast.
Well, if you ever need help building that energy in the health ship, I know a Captain Tornado that would help you out. So you got school, you obviously have a full-time job, you obviously have a wellness plan that you do throughout your day. You have 4 children, did you say? 1 children? Oh, I thought you said 4 earlier for some reason. You said 4 your child. So how do you, besides for Qigong, how do you stay balanced? How do you stay even keel? What kind of things do you do? I know you document, journal, stuff like that, but what else you got?
Well, I would say that's so the documenting is a big part. My human design is the line 2-4, so the hermit opportunist. This might not apply to everyone, but I need a lot of me time. And so in the morning it's give or take, but at night I have to like at least spend an hour or 2 with myself to decompress the day. And when I am around people, to focus on my breath and not on my own agenda. And I think those 2 things, as long as I get my me time and I don't focus on me when I'm around people, like other than like being present within for what's around me, like those things are like the biggest reason why I'm so even keel, and drinking enough water too is good.
Yeah. It always comes back to the water. It always will. I love the awareness there. On a lot of people, I think we overlook self and we I fall into this trap a lot, trying to fix, trying to help everyone else, everyone else, everyone else, and then it's, oh, what happened to me? And I'm dragging myself along. So I think often we overlook self. So for you to introspect and start there is, I think, super. This is super admirable. Um,
Oh, another point. Um, Something that's helped me a lot this year is not, this might not be for everyone, but I turned my phone completely to grayscale. So right now we're all black and white. And I don't want any of the colors on any of the apps, even Skool. It's got very vibrant colors. I just keep it, unless someone is specifically calling out a color for me to look at, I will keep my phone on grayscale all the time so that I'm not allured to fall into the rabbit holes as I used to.
Yeah, I know people who've done that. I haven't tried it myself, but it makes sense. I mean, it's a slot machine for our attention, and that's why it's all pretty and colors and little jingles and stuff. So the more of that you can eliminate, of course, the more you stay in charge of your attention. So that's pretty smart.
and our brains are being poisoned by light every single day.
Dylan also mentioned that that is also digestion, right? Like all the information that you consume, that's also part of digestion. Yeah, very important.
Actually, I love how you said that earlier too. I was going to say something about that because it's not just, we think of digestion, we think going in our mouth. We have ears, we have eyes. Like what we are digesting, we're putting a lot of crap into this thing every day. And it's not just food. So I love it when you said that. I was like, oh, I like circled that. Yeah, I thought that was really great because we're not.
And especially if you think about, like let's compare the human body to technology, which it is actually, it's just better. So if you have a computer and then you give it like a ton of data to process, what is it going to do? It will start doing the little, hourglass or little ball, depending on which camp you're in. So that's exactly what happens with the body. Have you ever, maybe it's just me, but for example, did you ever turn down the volume in the car because you were looking for directions or something? Like it's sensory overload, you're just like cannot process all the data. So you have to eliminate certain things and just, bring it back to baseline so you can actually hear the little alarms of your body going like, no, 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 it's too much. So it's pretty cool.
On top of that, I'm not as in tune to like cosmic energy as my partner is, but she notices a big difference. I do notice the difference, but she really notices the difference between being like just physically being in town in a city versus out in the country, especially when we go visit people that have their land gridded with the right materials so that it feels really good and that it's, I mean, yeah, there's a whole rabbit hole there on gridding land. But yeah, there's totally different. We're not just receiving information through our five senses, we're also receiving in the other dimensions as well.
We're energetic beings. We are frequency. So yeah, we just forgot to read those signals, and it doesn't mean that we're not receiving them, but we just don't know how to interpret it, or it's all written like chalked down under stress, but nobody really knows where this is coming from. Well, it's all the blue light, it's all the air pollution, it's all the all accumulation of all of that. So yeah, I bet that that it makes a huge difference if you are just surrounded by nature or like concrete. So yeah, figures.
I got one last question. We're going to go into Dinka's card. If you could change one thing, and I'm not just going to say food, wellness, one wellness thing that is accepted and a norm, what would it be?
So I'm just telling you, I want to share my thought mechanism is I'm thinking about all the dimensions.
I know this is horrible. I did it on purpose.
Yeah. And it's hovering between the existential and the relational, the environmental. And so the environment is so nebulous, but like I want to change the environment so that the way people are raised in, because right now I see the epidemic of kids becoming adults that were raised in an environment. I mean, there's, the food and everything, but the environment is so big because what you're raised around, what is around you when you are being raised so impacts you on so many levels. And I would say like what we're doing that I would hope the rest of the world could do is when you're with your kids to not be on your phone.
That's a great one. That's awesome. That was a great answer. That's kind of what I was hoping for when I asked the question. Um, you got to start that environment and how we're raised because we're becoming the norm becomes the norm because we heard it that way. So I love that you, especially with your child, that you're aware to do that. I fall into this trap. I know a lot of us parents, people in relationships, when you have someone in your home, I know you fall into this trap. And it's hard. You got that, and you're like, oh, just this one thing, or you're trying to have pay attention, and it's so I love that you made that commitment, man. I really commend you for that. And your daughter or son?
Son.
Son is gonna be better off for it. I have watched the technology bug hit young kids firsthand. Babysitting my niece that is a year and a half years old. She can work around YouTube like nobody's business.
It's
And
scary.
it's
Yeah.
scary. It's scary, and how she wants that. No, but I watch this and go, oh, it's wild. And they are making, not to throw them under the bus, they're making changes in that realm, and they see it too. It's easy for any parent person to get sucked into the phone and then give it to their kids. So I really, hats off to you, your partner, for making that decision. Presence isn't always a thing in our daily digital go, go, go world. So for you to say, I need to be present with my child is pretty freaking awesome. Dinka, this is where you do your special part.
Dylan, you're gonna love this. So I don't know if you watched any of the replays or you've been on the calls, but I always draw a card from my oracle deck to kind of tune into the speaker's energy. And you have gotten the Lord card. It kind of looks like you even a little bit, and it says take charge with authority. So I hope it resonates with you, but I totally see that in you. So I just wanted to share.
Thank you.
Before I get to my final question, I want to make an observation of this call. And honestly, with as close as we live, man, I think we need a DNA test or something. Might be long lost brothers. Like half of everything you talked about, I was like, damn, he just told my story. Um, but what also came out in our call was Wisconsin. Though all of Wisconsin came out in this call. Earlier, you said well, I couldn't drink beer. And other people are probably like, well, big deal. No, in our state, if you don't drink beer, you are a pariah. You are weird. You can't go to the bar. We're that state that has a bar on every corner. If a town has 20 people, it has 2 bars. Just say it. Um, and that's the state Wisconsin is. If you don't drink beer, you're the weirdo. So that made me smile. Then you were like, and we put a ton of cheese on it. I felt like our whole state came out in your story. And I really love that. Cheese, dairy, and beer is what everybody around us loves. And we're two guys going, but beer has so much glyphosate in it. Dylan, it has been a pleasure. I can't wait to connect more. You and I are going to be mad scientisting some stuff up for our two groups. That's all you get to know. But me and Dylan are doing something in the background, a Better Brain Project and Healthship Network. That's all you get to know because I don't know anymore. So before our final question of every guest that I ask is, what does evolution mean to you?
For me, evolution means finding your purpose in life and navigating that each day so that every day you are getting 1% closer. You're evolving towards that purpose to come to fruition.
Amazing.
Oh,
So powerful.
great. What was that?
So powerful.
I thought someone else popped up. I thought I heard a voice. I thought someone asking a question. That was great, man. I love the themes that we find in this question. It's a question that I thought was going to be a simple one, and it's brought out the most expansive answers. And I love that. Um, thanks for this conversation, Dylan. I feel like these 90 minutes, I get closer to every single guest. I gain a new friend every time, and I'm sure everybody watching these feels the same way. The Healthship Network on Skool, guys. Dylan's in our community. Drop in this thread right now, that our live thread. Share some love for Dylan, for being vulnerable, sharing his story, and taking time out for us. Evolution 2026 continues tomorrow, day 7, with Jamie Gastrich. He owns a community called Rooted Disciples. So that will be a fun one. And I also have a meet and greet coming up with him later today. So the buzz continues. Thanks, Dylan. Thanks, everybody, for showing. Thank you, Dinka. Evolution 2026. Great day, guys.
Ciao.